Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs down Automobiles Racing Season, which is the first expansion to the excellent Automobiles, a bag building racing game that I did a run through for a couple of years ago that Jen and I really enjoyed, which is a big surprise to us because we're not big racing fans. But the core game is so great, and now it's gotten even better with Racing Season. I'm going to spend a few minutes today telling you what's in this box and why it's a must get if you enjoy the original bag builder. So right off the bat, obviously, you get a new board with Talladega Racetrack here. Only thing I know about that is Talladega Nights. If you ever want to role play as Ricky Bobby, you're set. But the interesting thing about this track is, while it is an oval, not entirely unlike Daytona from the original game, and it's about the same length too. Even though the board is bigger, it's comparable in size, 4 lanes and all that. But you'll notice there's a lot more multicolored lanes than the tracks you saw on the original board, which is cool. It gives you a lot more flexibility to lane change and stuff. So there's going to be a lot more shifting around on this board, which is nice. It gives it its own unique flavor. But what's more important is the other side. You've got 2 more maps, Monte Carlo and Tucson. And now, unfortunately, according to the rules, there was actually supposed to be a fold right down the center, so you could just fold this in half and only look at one track or the other. But apparently there must have been a miscommunication during the production, because you can see you can't fold. So unfortunately, if you're racing in Tucson, you're still looking at Monte Carlo, but we just use this as a place to hold all the cards and the cubes and whatnot. But anyway, these tracks are very interesting because, first of all, they're only 2 lanes, so they are much, much tighter. And in fact, if you remember, my main complaint about the original Automobiles was that it just wasn't very tight. There wasn't a lot of weaving and whatnot that had to be done in a 2-player game. The board was so big. These boards are much, much nicer for 2-player racing. Although the rules say you can play with even more players, and things just get tougher going on these super tight, super dense tracks. So this is cool right off the bat. 3 completely new tracks, each with their own unique flavor and feel. That's neat. But that's not all. Of course, you're going to get a whole bunch of new cards for your actual cars. Let's go ahead and zoom in and look at these a little bit. And basically, this kind of doubles the number of cards that were in the base game, because there were 4 of each type of card, pit and performance and handling and all that. There are 3 more. So now there's 7 of each type of card, which is very, very cool. Now, I'm not going to go through what they all are, but if you want, you can pause and look at what all these new abilities are in the different categories. But this just adds so much variety to the game, because like always, you're going to pick 1 from each of the different categories, but having 7 to choose from in each category, well, as you might imagine, just makes the game feel so much different from match to match. Are they matches in racing? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, so that's really cool. A whole bunch of new stuff. But we're still not done yet, because as cool as the new board is, as cool as the new car cards are, what's really probably my favorite thing is the actual drivers. At the beginning of the game, there are going to be a number of driver cards equal to the number of players plus 1. So in a 2-player game, there'd be 3 drivers put out before the race starts, as you're setting up your bag and getting all of that ready. Whoever's going to be in last place gets first choice, and then whoever's in pole position in first place as part of setup gets last choice. And these drivers, well, heck, you can see what they do. They give you a special power that will last for the entire race that really mixes things up quite a bit, makes you radically change how you're going to play. And I just got to say, I absolutely love these. There's 10 of them in total, so there's the last one. And you really get such a strong sense of connection. I mean, you start referring to yourself by your driver name, and everybody calls each other by their driver names. And the power you've got throughout the race really mixes things up. This, combined with 3 new tracks, that right there would be enough to say this is a fantastic must-get expansion. But we're still not done. In addition to the tracks, in addition to the new auto cards, in addition to this new concept of customized drivers, there are also sponsors. Now, the way this works is there's going to be, before the race starts, there's a certain number of sponsors put out on the board. I'm not going to tell what they all are, but I'm just going to look them out while I'm talking so you can pause and see what they say. There's a certain number of them placed out based on the number of players, and everybody knows what the sponsors are going to be. At the end of the race, after the race is over, Whoever came in first gets first dibs on a sponsor. Whoever came in second gets second dibs. Whoever came in last gets final dibs on a sponsor. And the sponsors have different abilities they'll give you depending on if you came in first, second, or third. And it's not like the first one is significantly better than the third one. It's just they're very, very different. Like Goodway Industries here, if you came in first, you get to remove 8 cubes from the bag. Well, actually, in this case, this is much better. You get to remove 8 cubes from your bag if you came in first. If you came in last, you get to remove 15 cubes from the bag. And now, what does that mean? Why are you removing cubes? I mean, after the race is over, you're done, right? Not quite, because there's now actual season play. The game comes with this, that you can keep track of your progress. And when you sit down to play automobiles, you will potentially play through several different races. At the end of a race, you'll end up getting your sponsor. That'll give you a special power. Let's see, and a lot of them are just about removing cubes, because here's the deal. When you go from your first race to the next race, you do not reset your bag of cubes. You stay exactly the way it is. So if you won a race, but to do it, you just drove your car into the ground and filled it up with so much wear, that's the way your car is going to be going into the next race. So you might have won that first race, but it'll really hurt you in the next race. But that's where these sponsors come in, because you can see throughout the race, you're going to get one of these sponsors. Now, let's say it's this one, or this one, or this one. And so you can guess that, hey, you know what? No matter what, I'm going to be able to remove some cubes or maybe add different cubes, because like over here, Definitive Design. If you came in first place and got this one, you remove 3 cubes, get rid of some of the wear that's in your bag, and spend up to $6 to buy new cubes. Whereas if you came in last place and you got Definitive Design, you get to remove 12 cubes. So you can really streamline your bag and focus on making a bag that's going to be perfect for the next track, but only get to spend $1. So you can see there's give and take on all of these. If you ended up getting Zotronla, well, again, you can see it's going to be different depending on whether you came in first, second, or third. And so when you go into the next race in the racing season, you apply the special power of your sponsor to change up your bag and whatnot. You keep the same racer that you were already, and then you start racing on the new track with the cars still set up the same way. And you could set up like this big, epic, long multi-race season instead of just playing. I mean, in a given sitting, you maybe want to play through 3 total races, which means at the end of the next race, you can keep your sponsor or get a new one, and at the end of the third race and so on. But you've got this that you can use to keep track. If you're halfway through the season, you can say, well, what was everybody's position? What driver was everybody playing? What was in everybody's bag? And use this to carry on to the next race. So this notion of campaign play. I mean, you could have a racing season that just goes on a long, long time and just save your progress between games and always reset your bag to the way it was. You will really start to get a sense of connection between your racer and your car because of just how you have built up this racing dynasty throughout the racing season. And that's it, folks. That is what you get in this Automobiles first expansion, and it is fantastic. So much cool stuff. Very, very impressive. The game is now a much better experience for 2 players, which, like I said, was a big deal. And it's really gone above and beyond, added a lot of very cool stuff. I should also say there's a couple of rules tweaks as well. Like now, if you want to, you have the option of, in the original game, you have to make it all the way to the end of a lane before you can switch lanes. But now you can switch lanes in between in case you want to do that, to be able to like zig between stuff or draft or what have you. So there's more flexibility in how you race, both because of this new mid-lane, mid-run lane change and more common use of multicolored lanes. But unique racers, unique sponsors, campaign play. It's absolutely amazing, folks. If you like automobiles, you gotta pick up Racing Season. So much goodness in this box. And as an added benefit, I found this out, if you toss the insert that came in this, you can fit the entirety of all automobile stuff, both of the boards, all the cards, in the expansion box and save space on your shelf in case you're space conscious. So even that's nice too. Lots to recommend here. That is Automobiles Racing Season expansion. And thanks for watching, everybody. Have a very, very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.